This is episode 40 of the Anime Podcast. I'm Whooper, and I'm joined by Grenchler.
Thanks for joining with us, guys. Took a week off, but new season. Got to wait for all those good shows to come in.
And the bad ones.
So a couple good shows, and then the rest.
We're going to talk about all of them here. Or
all the ones that were interesting enough.
Yeah, that's our criteria, I guess. Just whether things are interesting or not. We went through, we went on A.N.I.M.E chart and we looked at all the posters, the summaries, the synopses, the PVs, and we just picked out the 9 that were most interesting to us. And now we're going to talk about them. No acronym, no silliness. This is serious business.
This is anime.
And we're also going to do a couple episodes of Planetace at the end. We want to keep on going with our Planetace coverage. So that's going to be at the end if anybody cares. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the 9 series, we randomed them. We put them into like a random list generator thingamajig. And the first one that came out, that it spit out, was probably the one that most people are interested in, the greatest number of people, and that is
One Punch Man Season 2.
Yep. So, obviously all the buzz surrounding this series is that, it's not Madhouse anymore. It's not Madhouse anymore. When really the change in studio is less important than the fact that Shingo Natsume is not directing. It was him who was able to pull together a bunch of really talented animators using his industry connections, which is why the first season looked as neat as it did.
Neat.
So I don't even know who's directing the second season.
Google can tell you, but we can't.
Yeah, because I didn't look it up. But it is being done by JC staff, and there are some visual changes. And we're also getting into a different kind of story, like maybe a more long-running, continuous story than before, perhaps, based on the way that the end of the episode shaped up with the world-ending threat that's coming, and they have to get all the heroes and villains together to save the Earth.
Right.
Feeling kind of like a superhero thing now.
Yeah. Well,
how'd you
they
feel?
are superheroes.
Are they? They're not superheroes, right? They're just heroes.
So they don't have superpowers?
Well, they belong to the Hero Association.
One of them is literally a dog.
Yeah, one of that Class
Watchdog
S
man.
people. Yeah. But does anyone in One Punch Man actually have superpowers? A lot of the villains do. They're transformed by their obsession. By their
Cyclone.
obsessions.
She's psychic.
Oh. What's her name?
Tatsumaki, yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah. I think it means hurricane.
Yeah.
And Fubuki means blizzard.
But she turned around everything the ship fired and blew half the ship up with her mind.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. She does have supernatural abilities. But Metal Bat, for example, or
he's just really good with a bat.
Right. What about the guy who's rank 3? Genos is a cyborg. That's technology.
Right. Rank 3 is the
guy who
Wolf.
It's the guy
the old man
who uses the Big Bang, some sort of ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Something. But I don't think it's really superhuman. He's just.
And there's Kid Genius.
Right.
And Metal Knight, who's another robot.
He's a Metal Knight.
Or a human controlling a robot.
Yeah. Anyways.
King has a superpower.
No, he doesn't.
Convenient timing.
Yes, and he was one of the major characters of this first episode. What did you think about King?
I saw what they did with it, which was, at the start of season 1, a lot of people assumed that Saitama was just showing up at the end of a fight and taking credit for another hero's work, when King was taking credit for all of Saitama's work and had climbed to Class S because of it.
Right.
So that's what they were trying to do, to show that if a normal person had been doing what they had
gotten credit for what Saitama had done.
Right. How powerful they would be, as well as the target that would paint on your back, and
how beloved you would be as a result.
Yeah, because he's got a figure.
If it were painted in if it were fed to the public in the right way, if you were painted in a positive light. because everybody loves King. They all want his autograph and stuff.
When all he wants to do is go play dating sims.
Yes. So that's him. But what did you think about him? Are you interested in him? Do you think the first episode revolving around him was a good idea? Did it hold your attention? Was it?
I mean, it held my attention. I don't know necessarily. If I thought it was good, I did think it was interesting though, because it just kind of was commenting on people's perception of a hero. Like there's oh, that's the King's engine. When you hear that sound, nobody's ever lived after they hear that sound or whatever. And he's like, hang on, I gotta go to the bathroom. Just runs away.
Yeah, I think the first season also commented a lot on
perception of heroes.
Yeah. And also just people's general like selfishness and lack of gratitude towards people who are like not pretentious or conceited about their work, like Saitama.
Like when those classy
people
heroes
want spectacle. They don't want like a guy who's a hero for fun.
Right. Which is what Saitama is.
Right. And
I'm curious how he didn't go up further in rank B after saving the world.
I don't know.
At the end of season 1. Like, did they just not know he did it?
I don't know. And that's actually something we can mention about this episode is that I remember the ending of season 1 being somewhat abrupt. Like he defeats Boros and then that's pretty much it. Then there's
a summary
1 minute of narration
of like what happens afterwards and then bop.
Yeah. So in season 2, we don't get much of a re-establishing before we just immediately find Saitama, Genos, and King all in the same city, City M, whatever it's called, where there is immediately an attack, and that thrusts us into Saitama and King meeting and discovering each other's situation and what link they share. Like for a series that's not just about fighting and punching and is also about it's goofy character moments where it's just like Saitama and Genos hanging out at the house and
Saitama's trying to catch a fly and he can't do it.
Yeah, just little like slightly absurd bits like that. This one felt, I don't know, kind of like there was tons of setup and not much
payoff.
No, just not much not much breadth to it. Not as many moments where characters are just kind of hanging out and speaking to one another as
King and Saitama are playing video games.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But just the way the episode starts, like
and before
City M is immediately under attack. I mean, that's the way the first season opened as well. But in this one, like it's the sequel, so you would expect that it would kind of get us up to speed on what the characters are up to now. It kind of does, but not really. It just immediately.
I think it's really supposed to be assumed that this is almost directly after the end of season 1. Like there's been no time passage.
Is that right?
I think so.
Does the narrator tell us that, or are we supposed to infer that somehow?
That.
Okay.
Because it really does seem like it.
Well,
because they have a 6-month timetable for like the end of the world.
Right. And the fortune teller who was mentioned in this first episode as being dead. As being only somewhat accurate, but
that's not that she was only somewhat accurate. It's that she was always accurate, but she made very few predictions.
Yes, that's right. She actually shows up in season 1. You see her predicting like a great calamity.
Oh yeah.
Which I assumed, watching that first season was Boros' appearance, but perhaps it wasn't.
No, I mean, if you watch the ED, which I assume is actually the OP, but they just played it at the end of the show, you see like a giant tower of like bad guys with one dude at the top. So I'm assuming he's the world ender.
He's the new Boros for this season.
Basically. Although Boros wasn't in the credits.
Yeah, well, he's been dispatched at this point.
I mean, season 1.
Oh. Okay. Well, that also makes sense, being the big bad,
Can't be in the credits.
Well, they mostly had the heroes, I think.
Yeah.
And the Speed of Sound Sonic.
So what'd you think of the art changes?
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of the new visual style.
I didn't think it was bad. It was just different.
Yeah, it was different, and there were plenty of moments in this first episode where it was just a couple characters in a room or a couple characters walking down the street and speaking with one another. Most of the fights were Genos's.
Yeah.
And he was mostly beating up goons from what I remember. Nobody like too significant.
Just one robot.
Ah, yes, that's right.
A robot with a smaller robot inside of it.
Was there really nobody else? Just that robot?
Just that. Okay. Saitama blew up a bird.
What?
The bird that flies at King's window, and Saitama stops it with one hand.
Yes,
and then blows its head off.
That gigantic raven-looking thing.
Yeah.
That's the moment when King like truly grasps how powerful Saitama is and what it is he's been taking credit for.
Where did that bird go? You see a zoomed out shot. There's like the body of the bird is laying in a crater, and the head is exploded.
Right. Genos's arms looked very strange to me.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. It's rather than it was being colored, it was like textured. They took like an image of metal and kind of like shaded it a little bit and then put that on so that it looked
cell shaded.
No, just like shaded it for color, like so that it was the right color for what they wanted it to be. But they took like photo reference of metal in order to make it look like he was actually made of metal rather than being cartoon metal, which is just gray with some shiny bits.
That's what anime is. It's a cartoon rendition of...
I know, but there's more than one way to animate something. I didn't think it looked different, and I think it was jarring.
Yeah, it definitely distracted me.
But...
especially since Genos was the one doing all the fighting in this first episode. I wonder what it'll look like when Saitama or, somebody else, Garo, who's going to be the main villain, I think, in this season, or
Speed of Sound Sonic.
Yeah, what it'll look like when one of them gets into a fight, where they're actually like moving around a lot, their arms and legs, which won't be textured or whatever technique was going on there. Hopefully it'll be all right. A lot of there were a lot of. Genos causes a lot of explosions, which is really effects heavy.
Yes, very.
And it's really difficult to animate his fights, probably more than any other character on the show, perhaps. And so when he would fire, when he would shoot out a ball of fire or lasers or something in this episode, it would cut straight from him, like aiming immediely to the explosion. Yeah, and that was a shortcut that I don't feel as though the first series took very often. It took pains to show us the entire thing.
The explosions in the first season looked more cartoony, because it's a cartoon.
Well, they were more detailed, probably.
Whereas this one looked more like reference images of explosions stacked on top of each other. The sound was a lot better, I thought. But that's
really okay.
Yeah, like just during the fight, there's some really good explosion sounds and like movement and stuff. So I thought the sound design was really good.
Okay.
But the first seasons was really good too. So it's, they don't get extra points. They just get, okay, you're keeping up the standard.
All right. So visually, bit of a change. Yeah. As far as the story goes, with Fubuki and Speed of Sound Sonic, they're both looking for Saitama. Yep. It appears that more and more people are aware of his strength and like his capability.
They want to know where he gets his power from.
Yeah, as does Genos. That was the whole reason that they teamed up at first.
Right.
It wasn't just because he wanted him to be his Shisho. He was like obsessed with finding out the secret to Saitama's power.
As well as we've got more about the rampaging cyborg from Genos.
What rampaging cyborg? Oh yes,
the cyborg that killed his family.
Yeah, he's still after that guy. And this episode, the scene where he goes and talks to the doctor again for more upgrades. Yeah, with the crazy bowl cut and the Tengu nose.
Yeah. And he brings the piece of the robot that tried to kill him.
Right. So yes, that plot thread's being picked back up. So it does seem as though this season is going to be more like story heavy, I guess, than the first one.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that at some point. saying that this would probably be a more story-heavy season than last season.
Well, I've just spoken to people who have read the manga, and they say that the arc, this arc is going to be, it'll probably take up all 12 episodes.
Okay.
So we'll see where we go from here.
All right. So
we spent 15 minutes talking about this, and we really need to spend like half that time talking about each of these episodes.
Yeah.
We want to finish at a decent hour. So, what's your question?
I was going to say, what'd you rate it?
Okay, that's what I assumed you were going to ask me.
Yeah.
So 1 being the best and 9 being the worst out of these 9 shows.
Oh, you mean like placement wise, not like number. Okay, duh. Yeah.
I put it 5th.
I put it 2nd.
Okay. So that's an average of 3.5. It's probably going to be good enough for weekly coverage. Probably. We'll see. Here we go. I've got a little index card in front of me. Sorry if I pause awkwardly while I write it down.
All right. And up next is RobiHachi.
Yes.
This was a show that was animated.
Barely. Did this remind you of Space Dandy at all?
This reminded me of Discount Space Dandy.
Yeah. It's
not Discount Space Dandy. It's like when you go to Walmart and you're looking for something that's out of stock and they have to go in the back and it's like a 6-year out of date product. This is what you get.
Sometimes you get like major discounts on those 6-year out of date products.
Yeah,
I went to the Reebok store the other day to buy like a $70 pair of non-slip shoes for work. I got them for $20 because they were on clearance. They were in the back, like buried under some shit. Took them forever to find it, but I saved $1 million. So, I mean, RobiHachi could have been one of those amazing discount shoes, like pairs of shoes, but instead
it turned out to be
a knockoff.
Discount cheese.
Yeah, they were not Reeboks. They were
B-Rocks.
They were B-Rocks. That's right. RobiHachi definitely felt like it was made in China.
Really?
I mean, it's Japanese. But yeah, it's knockoff Space Dandy a little bit. Also, there was a show last year called Double Decker, Doug and Kiriru. Or Kirill, I guess I'll just pronounce it that way instead of trying to be cool. And the character, this show just like rips its character designs from that series. Like the pink-haired, what's the guy's name? Hachi, I guess, is the name of the pink-haired guy.
The main character?
No, the main character is the orange-haired guy, Robbie.
Right.
Or Roby.
So is Hachi
is the pink-haired dude who's, what is he obsessed? Like his whole character is about...
I didn't see that coming. That was unexpected.
Yeah, he just wants things to be unexpected or like taken by surprise to learn and experience new things. And then the other guy's all about like living life as it comes, stopping and smelling the roses and going with the flow.
And getting I'm looking for a word. Getting swindled by women.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, just making poor investments and getting duped by women. So he's kind of like Space Dandy in that regard. He's just like a total.
At least they didn't go to boobies.
He's a dandy. He's like
he's a dandy guy in space.
Yeah, he is. But not too dandy to watch. I mean, he's just the way that his character and pink hair guy's character are, or purple, whatever, are just diametrically opposed to one another, and all of their dialogue revolves around the fact that they're so different. Yeah, it's like they're the odd couple. And I don't think the show makes very good use of its space setting either. Like I can think of one moment where there was like an alien street crossing, and Robbie is he's in pursuit of somebody maybe who steals something from him, and he gets caught up in the street crossing. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of like a Space Dandy thing to do. But apart from that, it was just like there's a food stall where he likes to eat,
and it's basically a McDonald's.
Is it? Oh yeah, they serve
burger
burgers
and fries.
Well, that's not all burgers and fries are McDonald's, but like that concept is not particularly inventive. Like there's no inspiration there.
Right.
They're not taking advantage of the fact that it's set in the future in space.
But do you know what was inventive?
What?
Their two ships form a robot.
Yeah, that never been done before.
Never been done before. Do these ships work? I don't know. Hey, look, we just turned into an ultimate weapon.
And what was the deal with the music? Do you remember the moment?
I don't even remember the music.
Do you remember the moment when they have that first long discussion at a table like outside of a restaurant with an umbrella on it? I think it's right after Hachi.
I remember that.
He's retrieved the package, like the briefcase or something for Robbie, and Roby, whatever his name is, he brings it back, and Roby's like lecturing him on how to live his life in a carefree manner. And this smooth saxophone music is playing in the background as though he's laying down like the foundation for this character's life. And it's just going to be so revolutionary to his
I don't
perspective.
remember that at all. Maybe I just blocked it out.
It reminded me of Great Teacher Onizuka, which was from 97, or I think 98.
Somewhere around there.
20 plus years ago. It was using the exact same. I mean, it was probably a reference to it actually, because it was so identical to what I would have expected from that series. But it didn't. Like Onizuka, that show is constantly poking fun at him and like taking the wind out of his sails. I mean, I guess RobiHachi does the same thing for Roby, but
not Hachi. He's a genius.
Yeah, who loves to be surprised and
relate to me. I like new experiences.
Yeah, and he loves new experiences. Even like the main reason we decided to watch the show is because the robot, the rabbit, the giant rabbit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even the rabbit is kind of lame. He's just like an insulting butler.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's just like a bad fusion of QT and Meow.
I guess.
He's a robot animal sidekick. So rather than having both, you have one.
Yeah. But he can't hold a candle to either.
Right, I know. That's why I said he's a bad fusion.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty bad.
It was.
Would you rate it?
Dead last.
Okay, same. We both put it at 9.
Yep.
Let me write that down. Definitely not getting picked up. Next up is Fairy Gone.
All right.
Did you like this? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next?
I rate 8 of 8. Great mate.
Did you actually rate this 8th?
No, I did not.
Okay.
It's a little higher up there. I thought it was okay. I mean, I didn't think it was bad. I feel like I need to stop saying that. I didn't think it was bad. I just need to think of something better to say.
What did you think of it instead of just whether it was or was not bad?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of fun. I thought there was enough new to the take on the, like supernatural beings are part of us and we're warriors story for it to be interesting. I liked how at the start the girl's like looking through the storeroom and is just like asking questions, which was just their form of exposition for the world.
Yeah, I thought that was actually probably my favorite part of the episode, that little back room when the auction is taking place. I really liked those backgrounds.
Yeah, and all like the weird different like pieces of art and
yeah, it's like neat set design.
Yeah, it was cool for sure.
That was the highlight for me.
The highlight for you was the start of the episode with a storeroom, and you didn't like the rest.
Yeah, well, not too much. I mean, all the stuff, all the narration about this fictional world that they're creating, where there was some kind of war. All of that at the start, like there's no context. We're just being fed a bunch of information. I wasn't really down for that. And then everything that came afterward, all the combat involving like the fairies, the sprites that they summon to do battle with one another.
Yeah.
Just the CG, I was like, eh.
I thought the CG looked pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, do you remember the CG in Overlord?
Well, Overlord is not the metric. It's not the bar for me.
What's your bar for CG?
In anime?
Yeah.
Well, do you want like a reasonable bar or just the best there is?
A reasonable bar.
I don't know.
Okay, the best there is.
Land of the Lustrous.
I've never seen that, so.
Hoseki no Kuni.
Don't have a frame of reference.
Pretty good. Yeah, I had that in mind when I said that, and when you said a reasonable series, I was like,
I can't think of anything.
what
Girls in
show?
Panzer?
Yeah, I guess. I actually think the CG in Girls in Panzer was more than reasonable. I thought it was pretty good, especially given the fact that it was produced 7 years ago.
Yeah.
and has only gotten better since then, most likely, with all the movies. There are actually tons of Girls in Panzer like spin-offs, OVAs, films, and things like that. Even now, they're coming out with more. There's like a series of 6 films or something that's being released one after another.
Wow. Anyways.
Yeah, I didn't care for the...
I thought it looked... I didn't think it was too invasive. I thought they used it kind of sparingly. It's not like during the fight, the main characters turned CG as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which happens in some shows.
Yeah. Like Ultraman this season is just all CG.
Well, all CG is fine.
Ultraman was not fine.
Okay, so was it Berserk though?
Probably not. I haven't actually seen the CG Berserk. I've seen the original series and read the manga, but I don't want to touch the...
It's the best I got for that.
So you like the CG? I really didn't. But
yeah, I
thought it was
good.
How much I like the combat in general is going to be colored by how much I like the characters, and I thought that was this show's biggest weakness. Like they don't have that much personality. Marlia, the girl, is just mostly shouting about how she wants to see her friend Veronica or Victoria.
Victoria, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. And the main guy, he is just like stoic. He doesn't emote. We don't know anything about him other than like
he's a detective.
He was also shown in the war flashbacks, and you would think that, I mean, given the setting, there is so much potential for interesting characterization or backstory. Like, for example, they could be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. You could explore perhaps their religious or spiritual beliefs, since fairies are such a integral part of their lives. You could just in general talk about how
but that's not enough boobs and monsters to move units.
I guess. I thought the characters were super weak. Honestly, I thought
it was the first episode, and sometimes it's hard to have good characters in a first episode of the show.
I think that should be your priority in the first episode, is to make people care about the
first episode is the hook. And for a lot of the anime audience, the hook isn't how deep and detailed the character is. It's action.
Yeah, but I think that should be. Take Boku no Hero into consideration. The whole first episode is about establishing Deku as like a hardworking, really earnest character who really like wants to be a hero so badly that he's willing to do anything to achieve it,
including basically kill himself by trying to save his friend.
Yeah,
from a monster when he has zero power.
I mean, that just makes him out essentially to be like the quintessential shonen protagonist. But it is solid character work. It establishes Deku as the foundation for the series. Fairy Gone didn't establish any of its characters as the foundation for the series. Like the scene at the end where Marlia and the dude, like they grasp hands as the J.J. Abrams lens flare flashes in the background.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything when that happened. I don't know anything about either of them.
I was just like, all right, so you guys are teaming up. Cool. That was going to happen in the first place. So let's get this rolling. I enjoyed watching it, though. I didn't take a fine-tooth comb to it, and I'm sure if I did, I'd have basically the same criticisms as you, but I enjoyed it. And I think that's all there is more to say about it. What do you think of the traditional animation in it, though? Just real briefly.
I thought there were a couple really janky-looking moments, but for the most part, I think it looks pretty good. That's PA Works in general. They have nice background art and serviceable animation. And they're the thing that's most notable about them as a studio is that they do mostly original works, and Fairy Gone is another one of those.
Cool.
So they deserve some commendation for that. That they're not just adapting a bunch of successful properties or crap or both.
I was about to say drivel.
Yeah. So what'd you rank it out of 9?
All right, out of 9, I ranked it a number that I need to unlock my phone to tell you because I am horribly prepared. 5th.
All right, I put it 8th. That's an average of 6.5.
We are not covering that show.
Probably not. But will we cover the next one, which is Fruits Basket? You actually sent me a text. Before we started recording this, you said, I like Fruits Basket more than One Punch Man. What have you done to me?
Yes.
So does that mean that Fruits Basket is your number 1 ranked series?
Yes, it is.
Damn, I'm like so pleased on some level to hear that. All right, why did you like Fruits Basket so much?
As you stated, the characters.
Okay. What about them? Which ones? What about them?
I mean, we get
Toru is the main character, the girl.
I'm bad with names. So we get a lot about Toru in the first episode.
Yeah.
We get that she's not very popular in school. She kind of hangs out with weirdos, which generally means you're not terribly popular. She lives in a tent.
Right.
Because she doesn't have parents anymore.
Both of her parents died horribly.
Yeah, her dad died when she was 3. Her mom died in a car accident when she was like 12 or something. So she was living with her grandparents. Grandparents' place being renovated. And she's like, yes, I can stay with my friends.
Yeah.
Lives in a tent.
The grandpa is like senile. Thinks that she's her mother and asks her to get out of the house for a bit while the renovations are happening.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the episode opened with her in the tent. And rather than rushing to explain why that is, the show lets you follow Toru to school, learn about who she is as an individual, and only later fills you in on what's going on and how it links to her backstory and the tragedy that's befallen her. I think those are really good order of events because it lets us get invested in her and not just her sob story. That was nice. And I do like Toru's character as well. I like that she's a hard worker, as we see when she's working her job at the hotel as a janitor, when she's like zooming around with the mop.
And the other 2 ladies like, we've had to do a lot less work since she started here.
Yeah. It's nice that she does her best in school and she's a hard worker, but that you can also tell that she's lonely, she's exhausted. She is a tragic heroine, essentially.
Well, heroin is tragic.
Yeah, don't do drugs, kids, unless it's anime.
Unless it's weed.
Yeah, I mean that's not a drug.
No.
Let's be real. Weed has no negative effects. It's the best thing ever.
As long as your brain is fully developed by the time you start using it. Otherwise, it can cause significant like learning disabilities.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Like if you're 25
that
and older,
explains all my issues.
just 25 and older, it doesn't really affect you. But if you're a lot younger than that, it fundamentally damages your brain as you grow up.
Well, I'm sure everyone agrees on that, and there's no controversy about it.
Well, of course not. There's no controversy here. This is an anime podcast.
This isn't Weed Basket. This is Fruits Basket. So how did you?
Which there's no fruit.
That's true. Perhaps, yeah. I mean, first of all, I guess I should mention that Fruits Basket is the second adaptation of like a legendary shoujo manga.
Right.
It was originally adapted at the start of the century, and then they're redoing it now, for a new audience and stuff. And I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so.
I really like that when the characters transform, like the boys when they transform into
like
their zodiac
lazy puff of smoke.
Yeah, it looks like live action. It looks like footage of actual
like smoke going off.
Yeah, I kind of like that they use a different technique for it because it symbolizes the fact that there's a shift happening like between realms almost.
An otherworldly event.
Yes, exactly.
Which is why the fairies were animated, because it's otherworldly. Explain away the CG.
They look robotic, and they're supposed to be naturalistic because they're fairies.
But CG doesn't look like that in anime. Look at Knights of Sidonia.
I don't want to.
Good. Anyways.
All right, so what did you think about the guys? The members of what's their family?
The Toru?
The Soma.
Soma, that's right.
The Soma family. There's like a couple brothers.
Yeah. There's 2, and then we see a third show up.
He's not part of the Soma family, is he? He's like the outlier because he's the cat, the one that's not part of the regular zodiac.
Right.
So what did you think about those 3 dudes?
I mean, they all had distinct personalities, maybe one-dimensional, but I think because they're, manifestations of different creatures, that their personality is supposed to match the animal that they portray. Like the rat is supposed to be cunning and intelligent and kind of a snake. The cat just wants to knock everything off tables.
Yeah, just chaotic.
And the other guy's the dog.
Mm-hmm.
The dog is just like super friendly, sometimes in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They do all represent their animals. Maybe it's called Fruits Basket because I don't know, just the image of a fruits basket of there being a bunch of different types of fruit.
It would be like all the different like little stones kind of in like that little holder.
Yeah.
But
all the different animals in the zodiac kind of arranged attractively like a basket of fruit might be. That's my guess.
And she's really good at home ec, so she gets to stay with the animals or the animals.
Yeah. So you liked it mostly on the basis of the characters?
Yeah, I liked it on the basis of the characters. I have no idea where a story like this goes. I mean, obviously it's a romantic comedy.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be more dudes.
Well, yeah, they're all dudes.
Yeah.
And there are 13 of them.
So it's like a reverse harem.
Yes.
I guess that's the term you would use. It's probably going to get a little bit more like melodramatic as it goes on. How do you feel about that potential?
Potential for melodrama?
Yeah.
So potential for regular anime?
I guess.
It's fine.
Okay.
No, I don't care.
All right. Well, I'm kind of shocked that you ranked this one first. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Nice. Anything else that you liked about it that you want to mention? Or
I didn't notice like if the music was especially good or anything. Nothing stuck out to me. I thought it was just music in an anime, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it
wasn't Carole and Tuesday or anything like that.
Well, yeah,
but that's another story.
Story that we'll be getting to. Oh, it's the last of the 9 series.
Last.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that.
Okay, well, I suppose we will be because I ranked it 4th out of 9. Gives it an average of 2.5. And it's definitely gonna join the rotation.
Cool. So what's next on our big book of gaming?
What? It's the big one, man.
The biggest of the ones.
Sarazanmai.
Yeah.
So this is by Kunihiko Ikuhara. And you've never seen one of his series before.
They're supposed to be weird.
Yes, they're all strange. They're all kind of trippy. They're all highly symbolic and metaphorical.
And this one
perhaps the most out of all his works, just based on the first episode. It's
also superbly well animated.
Yes,
like astounding.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Really great.
I loved the background characters.
Which
just
background
like
characters
the little cutouts.
Oh yeah,
like you would see on like a restroom sign or something that it kind of just like floated on the ground.
Yeah. Did you notice that they had like hairdos from the Warring States era?
No,
they looked like they got the. I don't know how to explain what their hair looked like, but when you watch the second episode, if you do, check out the hairdos that they've got. They look like the samurai who just have that little ponytail looking thing that's folded up on top of their head. I really don't know how to explain it. I'm just embarrassing
myself. You mean
myself.
like Zuko's knot?
No, not even a knot. I don't know.
I know. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like
anyway, kind of.
Anyways,
yes, that's been a staple of his work for a while. That the background characters are just reduced to something to symbolize that they're unimportant. But it's weird that they have that little touch in this series. I wonder what that's supposed to represent. Because like in one of his shows, everything has some deeper meaning.
What does it mean?
Yeah, that you can read into. And some people are really put off by that. In fact, on the blog that I write for, my friend and I both gave this first episode glowing reviews, and a lot of people have come at us like, you guys are just full of it. This show makes no sense. It's just pretentious.
It's like when you listen to pretentious indie rock bands and say this is the greatest music to come out, and people just go, "I don't know about that, chief."
Here's what it's actually like when you listen to just regular indie rock bands, because that's the kind of music that you enjoy. I mean, that's how it is for me with this series. There's a 50% chance that this entire show will just go completely off the rails, as his works have done in the past, in my opinion. But he does have at least one big masterpiece under his belt that I love to death. It was made 22 years ago, but so Sarazanmai.
Yeah.
Yes, you mentioned very nice looking. I think the background art is really good. The animation also tremendous. The scene that I'm thinking of is the one where they're
with the water where they're kind of like skating through it. Yeah, that's what came to my mind as well.
The characters, the way they're integrated with the background in particular in that scene, that it really looks like they're skating on the waves, and like their feet are just kicking up small wake trails behind them, and the way the colors are shifting as the waves are turning, like crazy looking stuff. But then the fight against the giant cardboard box in the Field of Desires.
Is that supposed to be like the Field of Despair from the underworld, and he was supposed to be like Cerberus or something?
Who knows? Who knows what any of this means? And then there's immediately after that, after they defeat the cardboard box, which is, I think they extract the Shirikodama from its anus.
Yeah,
is that right? Because that's what they have to do in order to regain their humanity. Then after that, there's this scene where all the characters are privy to the main dude's secret,
right? Which is that he cross-dresses as a girl to get closer to a little girl.
He does it to connect with, I think, the woman who on the news broadcasts, like the idol, who's always like encouraging people to send in selfies and stuff. You remember throughout the episode there were those news broadcasts on the screens, and it was.
Then what was with that little girl that received the message, like a 6-year-old or something?
Little girl that received the message.
Yeah.
Did you write any notes about it?
Yeah, it says the main guy is a crossdresser who gets closer to a little girl that I hope to God is his little sister.
Huh. I don't even remember this 6-year-old girl.
Yeah, it was like, that was really
was it the sister of one of the other boys with the glasses, whose home we go into briefly? He has like an older sister and a grandma who starts talking about the Kappa.
Maybe. I don't. This show got really blurry.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I agree. The details are kind of hazy for me as well. I didn't take like super extensive notes. I mostly took notes on the visual presentation, like potential meanings, like metaphorical meanings for some of the objects that the show uses. Like cardboard boxes hold secrets, like they can be closed, and as opposed to some of the open imagery, like circles. Dishes, that weird pink ring that descends from like the sky or something in the intro sequence, where it's the character running alongside the river.
Yeah.
Remember that? I mean, I feel as though as the show goes on, there's going to be like circle versus square. I feel like a lot of the images that Ikuhara is going to call on as we go forward, circles representing like openness and completeness versus squares being kind of literally things being like boxed in and withheld from people like seeing inside. That's just a guess though. Like there's no way to really totally penetrate, no pun intended, what this episode is about.
You mean reverse penetrate?
Yeah. I guess we should talk about that.
Exfoliate?
Yeah, the boys are turned into kappas because they piss off
basically a god.
Like the crown prince, the next guy in line to inherit the throne of the Kappa kingdom. They just run afoul of him, and he turns them into Kappa and gives them a mission.
Gives them a quest.
Yeah.
Another shrubbery.
So I have to imagine that in every episode, they will be transformed back into Kappa and have to regain their humanity, like on a regular basis.
Or maybe it'll be a completely different set of characters in the second episode.
I really doubt that.
No, but it'd be interesting.
Don't you think that, I mean, the fact that the show dedicates an entire segment to like exposing their secrets near the end.
Yeah.
Like when we get the silhouettes of the different boys imposed on top of their minds are kind of melded together and they're all seeing the same thing.
I steal things. I don't remember the third dude.
Yeah, I don't remember the third dude having any
gay
sort
or
of
something. Like, is that a secret?
I mean, I think homosexuality is going to factor into this series. It does
a lot of butt stuff.
Yeah, it does in a lot of Ikuhara's works. Like his previous series was called Yurikuma Arashi, which literally translates to lesbian bear storm. Also very trippy, metaphorical.
Does that have to have
series.
anything to do with like, Bear Storm, Sharknado? Same
No.
idea.
It's about as absurd, but with much more visual flair, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this series is set to explore, like, I don't know, issues of maybe homosexuality, transgenderism. Maybe the boy will come to the realization that he considers himself to be a girl. I really don't know, But I'm interested. How about you? What's your final verdict, or what's your feeling?
My final verdict is like, I would watch the next episode, but I don't know if I want to.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like, yeah. So is this your number one?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I think I put it. Let me
just keep your phone out, man. That way you won't have to
keep doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sixth? Okay. So that is an average of, what is that? 3.5? Yeah. Tied with One Punch Man. Well,
a 1 really does shunt something pretty high up.
Yeah.
Regardless of where it landed.
It does. Still bitter that we didn't do After the Rain after I put it first and you put it dead last.
Well, I mean, you can't come back from that.
Okay, so Sarazanmai, interesting. Definitely an interesting series.
Yeah, it's
very daring.
I just want to order things from Capazon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too. In fact, I hope they set up a website. Not like a functional one, just the one where that you can visit.
Capazon.co.jp.
Yeah, we should check it out. All right, how many minutes of people's precious time have we taken up so far? 46 and a half. And we have 4 series left to discuss. I'd say we're making decent time.
Yeah, say so.
What's next?
What's next on our list-a-roo?
Do you see that? I'm pointing at it.
Hitoribocchi?
Yes. Hitoribocchi. Yeah. So this show, very cute, very very cutesy, very very kind of fluffy and light.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that tone?
I'm actually just going to read a little bit of my summary. It's just, cute girl is awkward. Laugh. It's all right. It felt pretty formulaic, honestly.
Yeah. It's based on a Yankoma manga, which means 4-panel. So there's like a format in Japanese.
So it's based on the same.
It's just like 1, 2, 3,
the same
4
format that Xylophone is from.
Pop Team Epic.
Yes. I couldn't think of it. All I could think of was that clip you keep showing me.
Yeah, because it's awesome. Yes. Yeah, Hitoribocchi is it's based on a Yankoma, and there is a bit of a formula to it. Yeah. And you can tell even in the adaptation to like I'm not even sure this thing needed to be, because there are a lot of short series airing this year. Some 13 minutes, some like 6, some 3.
You don't think this needed to be a full fat 22-minute show? I think
half that might have been enough for this series. There's definitely a feeling of paddedness to this episode, in my opinion. But I did enjoy it. I think the most interesting thing about the series to me is that it's not something like Welcome to the NHK or Watamote, which explore the much darker side of like isolation and social anxiety. Hitoribocchi like creates a very warm and inviting and optimistic atmosphere within which to
explore
look at
social anxiety.
Yeah, and it's almost like the show is a tonic for people who deal with this in real life. Like they want to see their issues reflected on screen, but not in a way
that makes them feel terrible.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's something that the show really succeeds at. I think the color design, lots of blues and pinks,
and orange.
Yeah, and the general movement of the characters, their cute design, their short staturedness, like all of it works in service of that. So I do like its mood.
What do you think about the friend being like, "We can't be friends until you're friends with everyone else"?
Yeah, that's a bit silly. You know?
That's
one might even say contrived,
or plot thready.
Yeah.
Because no one in real life would ever say that.
No, they wouldn't. It's just to establish the premise.
It's like your therapist saying to you, it's like, all right, now no more sessions until you've seen 10 other therapists.
Is it like that? Is that really a good analogy?
Oh, well, if you're somebody who you're talking, your only friend who knows you have this horrible, problem with anxiety goes, all right, now we can only start talking and relieving your social anxiety when you've conquered your problem head on.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I don't know. I think it might be more like a therapist saying, we can't have any more sessions until you've just whatever issue it is you've had.
Right.
Like you go out in public and seek it out and just like try to kind of chip away at yourself until you've fixed the problem.
Sing the national anthem in Times Square.
Yeah. I think Hitori or Bocchi, whatever you want to call her, I think she would probably throw up all over the place if she were asked to do that.
Yeah, probably. If she even knew what Times Square was.
Right. So, yeah, what else is there to say about the series? You got any other notes on it? I do. I guess I have one. Like everything is laid out very geometrically. Like their class, everything is in very nice rows and
isn't that
and
just
columns.
pretty standard in Japan?
Well, perhaps, but
except for Dimension High School,
this show like takes it to a different length, like the next level. Just everything being sort of, the classroom is kind of laid out in like an approachable way. It's not as though everything is like chaotic. It kind of creates a space that Bocchi might be able to go into without feeling too nervous.
It's structured.
Yeah, I guess it's another example of the way that the show sets her up for success. Instead of like just creating a hellish, socially difficult landscape for her to navigate. There you go.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about it?
I really don't have anything to say about it. I didn't take any like specific notes or like note down anything that I thought was interesting or whatever.
What did you write there? Just like one sentence or? I guess you already read it.
Yeah, basically like one sentence.
Just that she's awkward and it's supposed to be funny. Haha.
Yeah, essentially.
So to me, it wasn't just that cut and dry. Like, girl is awkward. Laugh response. I did enjoy it. Not too much though, because I ranked it 6th.
Yeah, I think it's down there for me. I should
just keep your phone out.
Yeah, that would make sense. 7.
Okay.
Actually.
Tied with Fairy Gone. Or second to last. But we got 3 more shows. The next one being Mix. The baseball show.
Yes, Mix.
Did you like it?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like great or outstanding. This is supposed to be like a prequel, sequel kind of thing to Cross Game.
No, it's a sequel to Touch.
Okay.
Cross Game's by the same author. But it is a sequel to Touch, which is why
what the jersey's from at the end of the show.
Yeah. And that's the reason that there's a narrator.
Right.
Kind of like making explicit or not totally explicit, but like kind of hinting at or, implying that there's a connection. Hey, you remember that landmark baseball series that your parents showed you and that they loved when they were children and that this whole country loves? Well, guess what? This is more of that. I think that's why they opted for the narration heavy intro here.
I thought the pacing was really weird.
In what way?
I thought, some of the dialogue was paced really poorly.
Oh, you think so?
Like somebody would say, hey, can you help me with this? And someone would be staring directly back at them. And then 4 seconds later of dead silence. Sure. That was exactly what happened.
I don't remember that being.
Yeah, it happened in the house. Like the dialogue just felt really slow.
Yes, slow is a word that I would use. I don't I don't remember there being any sort of weird robotic 4-second lag time between somebody asking for assistance and somebody, the other person agreeing. But slow is definitely Adachi's style.
I also felt like the bulk of this story to this episode was in the back half, the second half of the episode.
Yeah, well, the first half is mostly, here are the characters.
Right. Here's a freeze frame.
Yeah.
And this is them. Here's their name.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, I thought that was strange as well.
I also didn't like the VHS, like the pause tape transitions and then the screen like shifts over. I just went, okay.
Yeah, I think that's also like a touch thing, because people probably watched that on their old CRT TVs. And
I did like
taped it
at the intro when it's like covering the events of the past series. It's got a little crappy tape filter and stuff on it, and then it clears up, and then the bars slowly
aspect
go away.
ratio
I
changes.
thought that was cool.
Yeah,
I always liked that effect.
But how about the story itself? Like there's two brothers.
Two brothers with a baseball.
So these events were set in middle school.
Yes.
Right. But I have to assume that the bulk of the action is going to take place in high school. So this is like a prequel that we're watching. A prologue rather.
Like this episode was a prologue to the actual show.
I think there might be this might be the first part of the prologue. Because
I think the whole thing's going to take place in middle school.
I doubt it. All of Adachi's series are about chasing the Koshien, like the national high school baseball tournament.
Right, and they say middle schoolers don't go to nationals.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing now is like the
genesis of the characters. That
pretty much like the training ground. Are the boys going to be given a chance to really like spread their wings, and before high school kicks in and like shit gets real? That's up in the air because they do have the coach that really favors the existing pitcher, even though one of the two brothers is like clearly
really good.
Yeah, he's shown to be more talented at the very end.
How can you tell he's a better pitcher? Well, the glove sound effect was louder.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Also, the camera angles for when he was pitching were a little bit more dynamic, I think. Like you got the shot of like facing him on the mound when you see him go through the entire wind up,
the whole throw,
the full extension. Yeah. And then his brother is the catcher. And we don't know exactly how they're related because the show keeps hinting at that, but not giving us the full story.
Right. They were born in different hospitals.
They're twins, or are they?
Yeah, they're from the same family. Well, you hear at one point the word like stepmom or something from the sister, or like stepmom or stepdad. You hear
I don't remember
from one of the three. You hear this like a step parent mentioned.
Okay,
so it's obvious there was another parent in the picture at some point.
Yeah,
and that's how they're in the same family, born at the same time.
The dad
in different hospitals.
Yeah, the dad knocked up two women at the exact same time, I guess.
I'd say a threesome's happened, man.
Yeah, maybe it was a threesome.
That's what happened.
I would actually love if there were an episode of Mix that was dedicated to explaining like how the threesome came to occur, and then both women got pregnant.
It was
God.
It was a rousing baseball celebration.
Yeah,
who knows?
A post-game orgy in the locker room.
17 years late.
Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, Mixes doesn't seem like the kind of series that would go down that road. In fact, it's kind of the opposite because it's very like reserved. It is kind of slow paced, and the characters, with one exception, maybe the freshman who's like, I'm the best pitcher in the world. Yeah, I'm gonna try out.
And now I'm in the outfield.
Yeah.
Outfielder.
But apart from him, most of the characters, it feels like they keep their cards close to their chests. Like for example, the entire team is kind of conspiring to keep one of the brothers, his pitching talents, like a secret. They don't do it when the coach is there, probably because they're not allowed.
Right.
But also, like, he seems to be their secret weapon. And neither of the brothers are really going around boasting about like their talents or anything. Their rivalry is more hushed than that. which is a style that I'm fond of. Just not everything is spelled out in super clear terms. But I do agree that some of the formatting choices, like the VCR stuff and the character introductions and the narration, and some of that is a little strange.
Oh, the show looked all right.
Yeah. I really like the character design. What do you feel about the super old looking character designs?
I was just like, it reminded me of like Astro Boy. Maybe not that old, but
yeah,
just like the like half egg eyes and like just super like soft features, if that makes sense.
Well, their features are all a little larger than normal. Perhaps not as many angles. Like their ears, for example,
soft.
are gigantic semicircles.
Yeah.
It does feel a little softer in that sense. Yeah.
It's definitely difficult animating people wearing striped uniforms, though.
Probably so.
Because you have to make all of those lines every frame.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, there are so many anime that put all of their characters in ridiculous costumes. That must be so much more work. Like with ruffles everywhere, and they're wearing 5 belts, and like there's 3 different like areas for cleavage to pop out for the girls.
Right.
And
3, you got to pump those numbers up.
Those are rookie numbers. All right. Speaking of numbers? How'd you rate Mix?
I rated Mix a mix bag
thought it was a mixed
television,
bag.
And because of that, it became 8th.
8th, okay. I put it 3rd.
Oh wow.
So 5.5.
Yes,
definitely not getting picked up. Next is Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Yes, the demon show.
Yes, the demon slaying series.
The demon slaying series.
How'd you like it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really like the art.
What about the art specifically?
Just the character designs and like how they're drawn was I hadn't seen anything like that before.
Well, this is the alternating line thickness. You've seen Samurai Champloo, right?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen Samurai Champloo, but Samurai Champloo looks like a Watanabe work. It looks like Cowboy Bebop set in a different time period.
It absolutely doesn't. Go back and rewatch it. You'll see the same line work technique used in that series as in many others that followed, and including this one.
Yeah.
Like when things are close to the screen, the lines are thicker. When things are farther away, they're more thin. But this takes it actually to another level in that like the lines are not totally even when something is, let's say someone's hand is close to the camera, they're like even if all the fingers are the same distance from the lens, like there's a sort of waviness about the line work. I wonder what that's meant to signify in terms of artistry, or
I just
why
thought
that decision
I
was
just
made.
thought it looked good.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I like the character designs a lot, and I think the CG backgrounds are pretty good too.
Like for the trees and all that stuff, because animating that many trees is, you don't want the Naruto effect where you pass 3 trees 1,000 times.
Yeah, well, that's the Flintstones effect. Let's be real. The Looney Tunes effect. I don't know. You can go as far back as you like.
Well, with the Flintstones, it was a literal giant strip of paper that they spun on a wheel as they were filming it so that they would pass the same background.
Right. I'm sure anime has done similar stuff.
Probably back when they were doing older techniques.
I don't know about the wheel, but reusing the same background and having it, fly by as characters are quote unquote running. Their legs are moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is obviously much more impressive looking. Conceptually.
There were 1 or 2 really ugly pieces of CG though. There was like a CG dove in the foreground which moved like it was possessed.
Maybe it was possessed. Maybe it was a demon dove.
It was right at this. It was pretty close to the start of the show, but it was just like, that's CG. That doesn't need to be CG.
Huh. I didn't notice that.
But that was the only thing that was stand out. That was just a weird choice for that to have been CG.
Okay. So you liked it visually. I do think the character designs are pretty cool. Like they've got the big eyes with the white pupils in the middle. Probably to the reason for that is to like form a contrast between humans and demons.
Right. The demon eyes being red, of course.
Well, red
and black.
Yeah. And everybody has pretty cool hair, I guess. I don't know.
It's cool hair. That's an anime staple, man.
Yeah.
You don't have
the outfits as well are they're probably specific to a certain period or a certain like location in Japan.
Yeah, I think this is set in a specific period.
Yeah. I mean, the
main character is delivering charcoal.
Yeah, their family produces charcoal. So this is set a while ago.
Charcoal has always been so interesting to me because you use wood to burn wood to make charcoal. Why don't you just use the wood in the first place?
Is this like a chicken or the egg type of?
It's not a chicken or the egg type of thing. It's just you burn wood in order to make charcoal.
Yeah.
But charcoal ends up being a smaller, more dense fuel source, so you need less of it to keep like a fire going.
The charcoal's used for drawing, isn't it?
It's also used as a fuel source. Why do you think people keep asking him for it in his house? Not everyone is drawing.
Well, why not? This is anime.
They're using it for their fires.
Plebs.
Yeah, they should all just be...
They should all die of hypothermia after creating their masterpiece of manga.
Yep, and then it'll just be lost to time. Buried somewhere underneath.
Won't be lost to time. Demons live forever, man.
Oh, that's true. They'll just... there's the art historian demon. I forgot about those. They're a distant cousin to the man-eating demon, but still... he's still invited to family gatherings.
Yeah. Sure. Anyways, what do you think of the story?
I'm looking for my notes. Here we go.
Do you remember the story at all? It was very simple.
I do remember the story, and it was very simple. But we got, we got the plot, basically it's like, all right, here's the motivation for the show. Here's what's going to happen by the end of the show, and go. Yep. And pretty much just like, all right, I'm going to go deliver this wood. My family's dead by the time I come back. Oh, wait, no, my sister's alive, and I think she's going to be dead, and I threw an axe at somebody, and let's go.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was very simplistic and kind of dumb, I thought. Like the way that he was established as like the perfect son and sibling. He's helping out his mom by selling the charcoal. All of his siblings like really love him and they want to go to town with him or they want to play with him instead of him leaving.
He's the father figure. That makes sense.
Yeah, but consider the tone of that scene, which has like literal harps playing in the background as these cute little children that tug on your heartstrings are like begging their Oni-chan to please let them go into town with him right before they're all slaughtered. Like
charcoal.
Where's the subtlety here? There isn't any.
There's demons in the forest.
It's
I mean, yeah, the story's not this.
It just feels obvious. Everything feels obvious.
The story's not the strong suit. And it was the motivation was set up and knocked down in 12 minutes rather than taking any time to develop. Is this an original? Is this adapted on something?
It's based on a manga from Shonen Jump.
Okay, so is this expected to be really long running?
I don't know about that, but it's expected to be pretty popular.
Okay. So is it like 1 core, 2 core?
I think 2 core is what's been said. Who knows?
If that's the case, then they definitely could have taken more time to set the story up.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if there's anything more to set up with a story like this. It's just going to be like him, training to defeat the demons and then get revenge or
save his sister, try to expel the demon or change humanity's perception on demons.
Well, that may be the one actually interesting thing that the series could do is like set up a way for him to save his sister via some supernatural means that would like really test him as a character or allow him to encounter like much more interesting characters who can help him with that mission.
Well, we got the training montage next episode.
Yeah, and we also got a fight scene in this episode against some dude a
demon hunter.
Yeah, like his internal monologues, like when Tanjiro, the main character, threw the axe at him, and then we're treated to this guy's
like breakdown of what just happened when we all already knew exactly what just happened.
Yeah, I was like groaning when that was happening. Man.
It had to have been verbatim from the manga.
Yeah, probably. But in the manga, it's just a bunch of speech bubbles. You can kind of infer as a reader that he's thinking all of this not word by word as it's literally read in the anime script, but he's all of it occurs to him probably in a split second as he's in the middle of combat.
Yeah.
When anime takes that sort of instantaneous thought and stretches it out the way that it's paneled
to like
on the
minute.
page. Yeah, it bugs me. And I don't know if that's fair because that's the way that shonen, not just shonen, manga adaptations have been for quite some time. But I think we are leaving that era behind slowly but surely. But Yaiba did not get the memo.
Is Yaiba the main character?
Tanjiro is the main character. Yaiba is the show. Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Okay. But by Yaiba, I thought you were referring to a specific person.
No.
The title of the show is right there.
Kimetsu no Yaiba. Yeah. It's a really cool sounding title.
I did enjoy the show though. I thought it was fun. I actually expected the sister to die, so nice surprise. I thought it's like, well, they've already killed his whole family. Why not kill the sister too and give him the ultimate course for revenge? But so I thought that was a slider rather than a curveball.
Okay.
Because it sunk lower.
I don't know. I mean, the relationship between the brother and the sister, they might be able to, explore that a little bit. Maybe in like once every couple episodes, or maybe once per episode, we'll get a short flashback to their relationship. Before she
turned into a demon.
Her brain got turned into a zombie thing, and we'll learn more about each of them slowly over the course of the series via like some consistent format. I don't know how they'll handle it.
All right, so where'd you put this guy?
I ranked it 7th.
I put it 3rd.
Nice. That's an average of 5. That's not going to be picked up.
Our scores are not very high this time around.
Well, we have 3 so far that are very high, and by process of elimination, we can figure out how we rated the next one, which is going to be covered.
Right.
So there's a tie for 3rd between 2 series, but we'll get to that at the end. The last show is Carole and Tuesday.
Yes. Which is another work by the man, the myth, the legend, Watanabe.
Kenichiro Watanabe.
Yeah, I didn't know his first name. I was just going to say Watanabe.
So you put it 4th, right?
Yeah, it came in right behind this show.
Yeah, 2nd for me. So that's 3rd. Interesting that Fruits Basket came in 1st.
I know you are interested in that.
All right, let's go through Carole and Tuesday kind of fast, I guess. Or
good music, visuals were okay.
Visuals were okay.
I thought the backgrounds were really boring.
Really?
Yeah, like the city was just like bland and like, oh yeah, this is the future. Look, there's some angles everywhere, guys. But like,
you just didn't like the architecture or the background art itself.
When they were using like the city as a backdrop, I didn't think it looked very good.
Huh. Okay.
I thought when you do future, you can do whatever you want, and this just looked like they played it really safe.
Well,
and they just went future.
Yeah, I think they played it too safe in that it just looks like New York or something. Or maybe it looks like some other city. Maybe I should be saying LA or, some other American city, perhaps Tokyo or whatever. But
I think the rest of the art was good though, except for one scene, which was weird.
What scene was that?
The scene where they're playing the weird mix of CG and traditional animation. It just felt.
I don't think the guitar was CG, was it?
Yeah, the guitar was CG, and in fact, I'm pretty sure they blended. Like when she was playing, I think that her hands were CG and the rest of her was traditional.
Huh.
just like on the piano.
You don't think it was like rotoscoped like Kids on the Slope was? Where they just took footage and
maybe it was, but it felt weird.
Well,
well as the whole time she was playing, she was holding her guitar like this. Like,
yeah. Well,
it literally wasn't sitting on her lap. Like the notch where you put it on your leg, it was over here. It was literally floating in midair.
I don't think it was all that bad, but I do remember the guitar kind of moving kind of jerkily, like
she was doing one of these.
Well, it was as though the guitar was just, like we were watching a slideshow of a guitar with 5 different images, and it was moving between them.
Yeah,
I also thought that jam session at the end was kind of weird, because the English lyrics were so, like it was just so pop,
teen angst.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. I mean, they are teenagers.
What's a 17-year-old girl going to write about that wants to run away from home? It's going to be some crappy lyrics.
I guess, yeah, but it was like, can you feel my tears? Can you feel my tears? They won't dry. Something like that.
Something about a lonely girl.
I'm really not about that.
Something about the ages.
I'm not about that style of songwriting, I guess. So I would be more interested in the story of how they, because the show opens with, there's some 7-minute concert that they put on, or some 7-minute performance, or something that changes the Martian music scene. They're on Mars. So we know they're going to do something spectacular. Instagram still exists in this future.
Yeah, dude, social media is not going anywhere.
Yeah, but Instagram's still going to be around. Okay.
Instagram is a multi-billion-dollar company.
I know, but
it's going to be around.
MySpace was, I don't know if they were a multi-billion-dollar company, but MySpace was huge. Everyone thought MySpace was the future.
It was huge, and then someone did it better.
Yeah, well, someone's going to do Instagram better before we get to Mars.
Maybe who knows? But the fact that it was there was just like,
I made an Instagram account.
That makes sense.
Oh, for me, I was like,
girls take picture of their food and their outfits and post everything that they do. Like that's something they would have done.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just gonna have to get over that. In the context. I did really enjoy how when they were playing together, they weren't instantly playing the song perfectly.
They were kind of feeling each other out musically.
And she's like trying to like pick along and learn like where the music's going. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. It was a good atmosphere to that little jam session at the end. Although, I mean, yeah, you have your issues with it, which are visual. My issues are mostly like, I don't know,
lyrical,
conceptual, or I don't know what the right word is for it. Just, I guess, about the subject matter of the songs. I'm kind of more interested in like all the side characters. Like the idol, the actress who wants to break into the music biz.
Which music is all done by AI and algorithms.
That's interesting. That
what did I write about this?
The record producer is like, oh, we've never hired a human before.
In a future where music is made by algorithm and singers are AI, a child actress wants to become a singer. Oh, I thought I had a more epic tagline, but I didn't. Darn it! I'm sorry.
Okay. There's the guy at the bar who used to be a record producer for like Humans before that fell out of favor, I guess, with the
right.
That's probably where the story's going. These two girls are going to bring.
He's the narrator.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
These two girls are going to bring real music back to Mars, baby.
I liked how in the bar when he's swiping through all the different drinks, there was actually a picture of a human you would touch.
Yeah,
so that
they actually did that twice.
Out.
He did that in the bar, and then I think Tuesday she has that job at the burger joint, which she gets fired from because she puts some sort of like pepper sauce or something on
something in their food.
Yeah, like the guy who calls her over with the icon, I guess.
Yeah,
of the person. He's like, oh no, I don't want anything to eat or drink. I want you. Like the worst pickup line possible.
We serve food here.
Yeah, there was the coffee guy as well. She she messed with both of their burgers, and then she got canned from
And then
her
on
job.
the way out, she's just like, I just got fired from another job. I'm like, you did this to yourself.
I know.
Like, come on.
I thought the exact same thing. Like, suck it up. If somebody's rude to you, you're in the service industry. Like, you got to expect some level of rudeness.
But we're supposed to feel for her because she's a refugee and she's down on her luck.
Is she a refugee?
She said she's a refugee.
Was there any information about like any war that had gone on Mars before this?
No, but
didn't she just say she was an orphan?
No, she said she was from a refugee camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Carole, her opposite, is like the sheltered rich girl who runs away from home.
Yeah.
To escape her, her parents.
Her parents and her brother Spencer has to track her back down.
Right. He's gonna be like a PI. I think I'm more interested in like him, for example, and the drunk former record producer and the AI guy. I'm more interested in them. Like what kind of stories are going to be going on in the background?
And the child star trying to break out of being a child star.
Yeah, because it's going to be those characters that form a more complete picture of whatever the music industry or
how
just the story in general is going to look.
Which is it seems to be mostly about like what this writer's vision of the music industry in the future might be.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I mean the big thing is like, AI versus natural music. What's the other term?
Humans?
Yeah.
Human music.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I'm interested to see where it goes. I think some of the animation was really good. Like the scene where Tuesday was hoverboarding to work.
Yeah.
I think it looked awesome.
Yeah, that was really good.
Like the graffiti on the walls in the background as she's
passing by a bunch of stuff. She stops a kid from stealing something.
Yeah. Because she's been there, man. She was a refugee on the streets. She picked up a thing or two.
It's like, I know how to spot a thief and to get fired from another job.
Yeah, she's definitely an idealist if she thinks that, oh no, somebody slighted me at my job. Now I gotta immediately, get revenge and get fired and then complain about the injustice of what's just happened to me.
Capitalism and the man just bringing me down.
That's right. He needs to find the loophole in all that and become an exploited pop star.
Much better.
All right. So we know what we ranked it. Do you have
Yes.
any other thoughts about it?
No, I think that's basically all I got.
Okay.
I like the I don't know if I liked it, but they're just like, hey, you can't busk here. Run. All of a sudden we're able to outrun this guy. Or maybe he just stopped running after them. Like, let's have a full conversation while in a sprint holding instruments, running away from the most fit cop in a TV show I've ever seen.
Just having like a normal physique is enough to qualify you for the most fit cop.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, so that the bridge meeting was a thing.
Yeah,
I liked how her keyboard like folded in half and like the legs came out. Thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And
there's lots of little futuristic touches
suitcase.
like that. Yeah, and her owl, which is an alarm clock,
and a pet.
Right.
And she takes the train with the goats, and the goat comes up and eats her journal entry.
Yeah. She just can't catch a break. But now that she's met Tuesday, she's going to set the world on fire.
Just like
or Carole. I forget which is which.
Just like the ink spots.
Who are the ink spots?
They did the song "I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire."
Oh yeah, in Fallout or something. Yeah.
Well, it's an actual song from the 20s and 30s.
Right, but let's be real. That's how you know it.
Yeah,
that's how nerds everywhere recognize it.
Yep.
It's not as though they know anything about vocal pop from the early 20th century.
No, they don't.
All right, we got our Fruits Basket and Carole and Tuesday definitely getting picked up.
Yep.
One Punch Man and Sarazanmai, I don't know. Do you just want to do One Punch Man?
Are we only doing 3 shows?
Yeah, I mean that's what we did last season.
Which one was Sarazanmai? The weird one.
Yeah,
That's
the weird
right.
one.
I mean, I'd rather do One Punch Man than Sarazanmai, but I mean,
Well, let's just do that then.
I'm not opposed to doing the pretentious "What does it mean" show.
Let's just keep it simple. We'll do Fruits Basket, Carole and Tuesday, and One Punch Man.
Okay.
Season 2. If that provides us with more opportunities to like complain about it.
2 dramas and an action show. That's better than our normal balance.
What do we have last time? It was a drama, Neverland.
Yeah.
An action show, One Punch Man or Mob Psycho,
Yep.
and a comedy. Roughly the same.
Okay.
Anyways, do we want to do Planet Taste now?
Sure.
Or are you tired?
We can do Planet Taste.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in for our, spring 2019 first impressions, everybody. If you don't care about Planet Taste, you can go find something else to do. But Planet Taste is better than most of these series, so we're going to talk about it.
We actually decided to split this up into 2 episodes. So if you want to hear our discussion on Planet Taste, look for episode 40.5, which should be up very soon. Thanks, and see you there.